Okay, let's just dive right into this. For decades, it's basically been the ultimate taboo, right? Relegated to late-night radio shows, speculative fiction, and hushed whispers in dark corners. But recently, a topic that has long been dismissed as pure science fiction has officially transitioned into a matter of urgent, highly documented global security. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack the details of this massive, unprecedented data drop.
Just think about that for a second. The conversation around highly advanced, completely unexplainable technology is no longer just some fringe theory. It is now a matter of public, congressional, and military record. We aren't looking at blurry amateur shaky cam footage today. We are looking at official government disclosures.
Section 1. The release of secret Pentagon documents.
So, let's get right into the heart of the matter, the Pursue program. We are suddenly dealing with a sheer volume of data that is honestly hard to ignore. This recent Pentagon release consists of over 160 distinct files detailing more than 400 highly mysterious incidents from all around the globe. And we aren't just talking about recent events here. These are meticulously documented military and intelligence records spanning all the way from the 1940s right up to a shocking FBI report from late 2023.
Before we go any further, we kind of need to update our vocabulary. You'll notice the government no longer uses the term UFO, they use UAP, Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena. This terminology shift is actually absolutely crucial. It's how the government impartially categorizes these objects, because they often aren't just flying. Many of these highly advanced objects are what they call transmedium. That means they can travel seamlessly from the vacuum of space, blast right through our atmosphere, and even dive deep underwater without losing any speed or changing shape. It's wild.
And political pressure from the absolute highest levels has forced this issue into the light. Through a program called Pursue, which stands for Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters, directives, like a 2026 statement from Donald Trump directing departments to begin releasing files related to alien life, have mandated an unprecedented level of transparency. The goal, officially stated by the Department of War, is to finally allow the public to see the data that has fueled decades of well-founded speculation.
Section 2. Space and Earth, the Apollo mission testimonies.
These aren't just random stories we're talking about. These are documented testimonies from humanity's most elite, highly trained space explorers. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, astronaut Buzz Aldrin officially reported seeing unexplained small flashes of light right inside the cabin. That very same year, during Apollo 12, Alan Bean observed a distinct flash of light sailing off into the dark void of space. And by 1972, on Apollo 17, Harrison Schmitt reported seeing bright, rotating particles that he actually described as looking like a fireworks display out in the distance. Even earlier than that, during the 1965 Gemini 7 mission, astronaut Frank Borman reported a bogey, a swarm of hundreds of particles moving right alongside their craft.
So, the really crucial point here is that the reality of these objects is acknowledged across the absolute highest levels of government. Former President Barack Obama acknowledged in an interview that these objects and their unpredictable trajectories are totally real, though he noted that the exact truth of government containment, specifically addressing the massive public suspicion around the top-secret Area 51 base in Nevada, remains heavily debated and tightly guarded.
Section 3. Historical Incidents, Roswell and Palomar.
If we chronologically connect the dots, we start to see a striking global pattern. It starts with the infamous 1947 crash in Roswell, moves to early civilian gatherings like the 1954 Palomar Convention, where people seriously claim to have encountered human-looking beings from Venus, shifts globally to a bizarre encounter in Indonesia in 1959, and leads right up into those Apollo anomalies of 1969.
Zooming in on 1947 for a second, a vital takeaway is that for every explosive public theory, there has historically been a firmly structured government counter-narrative. When a rancher found strange, incredibly tough, foil-like debris in Roswell, the initial military press release actually claimed they found a flying disc. But just hours later, a counter-narrative was issued. It was just a weather balloon. Decades later, in 1994, the military updated the story again, concluding it was debris from Project Mogul, which was a top-secret balloon project designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. That back and forth, it has fueled suspicion for over 70 years.
Section 4. Mysterious Traces in Indonesia.
Now, this is honestly one of the most fascinating and heavily documented cases in the region, recorded by Jacob Salas Atun, a former Indonesian Air Force general. In 1959 on Alor Island, locals encountered highly unusual beings. We're talking red skin, silver hair, wearing blue, metallic clothing, and belt-like devices. When locals felt threatened and fired arrows at them, the beings didn't even flinch. Even more shockingly, when the local police chief, Alwi al-Nadatad, cornered them from just 13 meters away and fired his weapon, the beings showed complete immunity to police bullets. They left only bullet marks in the trees behind them, with zero trace of blood. They exhibited supernatural jumping abilities, literally leaping over human heads before vanishing, and even conducted what appeared to be a bizarre medical examination on a confused 6-year-old child in a local field.
And you know, the Alor incident is absolutely not isolated. Indonesia is a recognized hotspot. We've seen massive, geometrically perfect crop circles appear overnight in Sleman, Yogyakarta. There are also confirmed reports of the military actively intercepting UAPs over the southern coast of Java, and extremely credible witness accounts of unidentified crafts landing in Senayan before the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium was even fully built.
Section 5. The Modern Era of UAP and Orbs.
Today, we are no longer dealing with blurry lights in the sky. Modern military encounters detail highly advanced, intelligently controlled drones, often referred to by the military as orbs. In 2022, military infrared captured an oval object moving at incredible speeds over conflict zones in the Middle East. In 2023, an FBI FaceTime interview with a drone operator detailed a bright, metallic gray object with absolutely no wings and no exhaust, hovering at 5,000 feet before vanishing in seconds. And just recently in 2024, Indo-Pacific forces captured a football-shaped UAP performing physics-defying transmedium movements right above the ocean's surface.
And this brings us to a highly discussed correlation found in the source material. Experts are pointing out that these modern UAP sightings, these silent, advanced orbs, don't just appear randomly. They frequently occur near nuclear facilities and major military conflict zones. There is a deeply researched theory that these phenomena might be actively monitoring or perhaps even mitigating humanity's destructive capabilities. They seem to be keeping a very close eye on our nuclear assets.
Section 6. Mitigating global ontological shock.
So, with all this undeniable data out in the open, we really have to shift our focus to the future. How are global governments preparing for the reality of full disclosure? Well, the biggest threat outlined by experts isn't necessarily a physical invasion from these crafts, it's something called ontological shock. This is a profound psychological and societal crisis. It's the mental collapse that happens when humanity's fundamental understanding of reality, our place in the food chain, and our religious structures are completely shattered by the realization that we are not the apex intelligence in the universe.
Because this shock could literally cause global chaos, major risk management firms like Deloitte have actually drawn up contingency plans. They classify this as a black swan event, an unpredictable event with severe, far-reaching consequences. The mitigation steps are incredibly serious. Step 1 is protecting critical infrastructure and ensuring the continuity of government if mass panic ensues. Step 2 is securing the global economy, recognizing that a sudden paradigm shift could crash stock markets and digital monetary systems overnight. And Step 3 involves aggressively managing the immense sociopolitical and religious fallout that would inevitably follow.
Which leads us to global defense readiness, and the contract here is pretty stark. Forward-thinking nations are already acting. Japan quietly established official military UAP defense and engagement protocols back in 2020. France is actively developing high-tech protective dome strategies. The United States officially established the Space Force to secure orbital defense perimeters. However, many nations, including Indonesia, despite its history of high-profile encounters, currently lack any official, unified UAP mitigation or defense protocol.
And that leaves us with a massive, looming question to end this explainer. As the Pentagon's document drops accelerate, and as global defense networks openly acknowledge the presence of these advanced orbs in our skies and oceans, is humanity truly prepared, both structurally and psychologically, for a reality where we are no longer alone? It's a question we may all have to answer much sooner than we ever thought possible. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the data. I highly encourage you to keep questioning, keep analyzing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.